People are dying in the streets, dying on our watch. It is a disgrace.
We have to address and come to grips with the reality of mental health. This is about getting serious about addressing the issue of crime and violence in our state.
Because California is a resilient and special place. The best is yet to come.
Homelessness and the housing crisis highlighting the governor's State of the State tour. As we highlighted, one of the areas left off that tour was the Central Valley. So let's bring our panel back in, Abigail Solis and Gary Bredefeld. And Abigail, I know you're not representing the Newsom administration here, but you heard from Stephen Maviglio. He said it was a big mistake to do the flyover of the Central Valley, especially with what's going on with the floods and everything. And you live in Tulare County. How do you respond to that?
I have to start by saying that this governor has been to the Central Valley more times than any other governor before, so we have to give him credit for that. And I also have to mention that this was the State of the State tour, not a tour of the state of California. He picked 4 big cities to go to talk about landmark issues and make the announcements that he made. I think it was pretty difficult to stop everywhere in that short amount of time. Of course, we always welcome him here and always want the governor to stop by, but he has been here a lot. It would have been great to have him, but I don't think in the grand scheme of things it really matters whether or not he stopped here.
Yeah, I think he should have come by. I mean, you know, we are one of the biggest cities in the state. And often the Central Valley gets left behind with most governors, so he should have come by, sure.
I'll leave you with this, though. Governor was applauded by a lot of state lawmakers on this nuance of the State of the State tour. Not your typical, let's sit in front of the state legislator and pontificate, if you will. He went straight out there. But will his message of combating homelessness and the housing crisis resonate here in the Central Valley since he didn't come here? You
know, what it all comes down to is changes that we can actually see in our communities. So what we are hopeful is that the money that he talked about to combat homelessness actually makes it down to the Central Valley, to areas like Fresno and Tulare and Bakersfield, where it's very much needed. And we put that money into action so that we can do something about the homeless crisis. And when people see that, I think then they know he meant it.
And as a city council member, you see how Newsom is actually working very closely with the mayor.
He is, but if you really want to do something about homelessness, you can't just spend billions. We've seen that work, and where he's done that and fail. You've got to strengthen the criminal laws. You've got to not let people use drugs on the street as they used to do. You have to force them off the street or pay a penalty for that, go to jail, like we used to do. You got to help with the mental health laws. You've got to change the laws if we're going to truly solve this problem. It's not just continue to throw billions at the problem.
All right, I want to get to one other topic. Time is in a crunch, as always on the show, right? But Measure E, remember that thing? The Fresno State tax, the new game plan being constructed to get it back on the ballot in 2024. So Thursday, there were a group of nearly 40 people, elected leaders, boosters, including the mayor, Council President Tyler Maxwell, Assemblyman Jim Patterson, along with the man who engineered it originally, Richard Spencer, who is a construction worker or owner. It's the 0.2 cent sales tax measure to support facilities, athletics, education programs at Fresno State. It failed 53% to 47%, but now they're working out details to get it back. What needs to happen to get the Fresno State tax going, the only one that would ever be available in the country when you think about a university tax?
You know, from what I've been hearing, that there was some critical things missing the first time around. I know that there was an ask for a diverse committee or an advisory group that made up of people that represent the community, maybe students, and that didn't happen. I think if we want something different this time, we need to have the input from students and people to tell us what it is that they want this money to be used for.
Listen, 56% of all students are from Fresno County that go to Fresno State. There's 6 counties represented by all students. That means 44, nearly half of them, come from other counties. This tax is to be funded by all of Fresno County, and it's a progressive tax. It will hurt the poor, number one. Number two, students pay fees for these facilities. Number three, it's a state facility. It ought to come from state funds that we've already paid taxes. Listen, I'm a tax fighter. I think this is a wrong tax. We shouldn't be supporting this tax. There's ways to provide facilities for Fresno State, which we all support. But taxing every resident in Fresno County for Fresno State when they have people who don't have their kids going to those schools, and there are other counties that also support it, is the wrong way to go. And that's why I oppose it.
You know, Fresno State is really the gem of the Central Valley, right? People look to this university, and a lot of the changes that need to happen are unfortunately not going to be able to be funded through state funding. So ultimately, I think we should let people decide whether or not it should be back on the ballot.
All right, it was 3 years in the making. You called it out. You got your wish. Abigail Solis, Gary Bredefeld, thank you both.
3 years too long.
It was great.
It was great. Thanks,
All right.
thanks, Abigail.